Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a interesting take on Abzan Maverick. This is a build that I've been talking to Hello Newton about after his recent success, or not so recent success, I guess months of success with Fiend Artisan in Elves, a card that I think works pretty well in Maverick as well, and this build is built around it to some extent. We have a lot of consistency with the 1-drops here. I believe in total we have 15 1-drops to play into a turn 2 Fiend Artisan for a turn 3 activation, which is pretty cool. So here we have the full play set of Mother of Runes, Esper Sentinel, which is a card that doesn't typically see play in Maverick, but in this sort of build is quite nice. With Exalted as well, it means we can do things like attack with Exalted to make Esper Sentinel a 2/2, and then cast spells in our second main phase to hopefully draw a card, because our opponent most likely can't pay the 2 as opposed to 1. So pretty keen to see how that goes. Otherwise, it was kind of hard to cut a 61st card. We went with 22 lands because the mana, the general deck is pretty low key. There's no Planeswalkers, there's no Questing Beast. Fiend Artisan is really the only thing we can sink mana into. And the 61st card is probably between the second Solitude, the Ignobled Hierarch, or maybe even Noble Hierarch number 4, and potentially even Fiend Artisan number 4, but for testing purposes, I wanted to see how this deck goes with the full 4 to hopefully see it as much as possible. We've also cut down on Knight of the Reliquary, a card that Newton put in pretty good words where Fiend Artisan is kind of doing the same sort of thing and sort of fills the same sort of slot where you're really looking to tutor for effects that have an effect on the board state, and a lot of that right now is with creatures, not so much lands. So I think Fiend Artisan is really powerful here, where you can still grab things like Collect Oof or Grist or Endurance. But it was really hard to pick a Green Suns package that really had the heavy hitters, because even cards like Ramanap, I was like, is that really that well positioned right now? But I think in this build with Dried Arbor and Fiend Artisan, it's quite nice to have that synergy as well. Because I did want to find room for cards like Snuff Out. I think that having extra removal in the deck would be really nice, but obviously it can be a little bit hard to find at the best of times, especially when you're trying to fit spell-based removal into a deck that's built around a creature that finds creatures. So that is the main deck. The sideboard is really just looking for heavy hitters against fast combo that go under initiative, and then some cards that are just kind of all-stars in the matchups where they're very good. Plague Engineer against any tribal decks like Elves, Force of Vigor against any artifact or enchantment deck from 8 cast to lands. Endurance, obviously great against a lot of fast combo and also Delver, and then Carpet of Secrets for Delver as well. One of the biggest issues that I have against Delver is my mana and dying with spells in hand, and that sucks, and that's where Carpet is really strong here. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully we do okay. Hey Saito, hope you're well. Very cool to see the changes you're making to your own list as well, because it is a cut above the rest when it comes to pretty sweet Maverick builds. Make this a bit smaller. Nice. This can be hidden. Perfect. Yeah, the Esper Sentinels are really interesting. Hey, MCA Gripper, welcome. I think they fit really well into Maverick, where you do have a shell of things like Wasteland and Thalia, so taxing your opponent and making them have to abide by your rules is pretty sweet. Alright, yama yama. This is a pretty interesting hand, because it is a 1-lander, but we have a lot to do with 1 land. And a second land off the top is obviously fantastic for Thalia. Obviously missing land drops isn't the greatest, but having a land that does do everything we want to for the first 3 or 4 turns is pretty nice, but I could see a 6 just being a little bit better. But it's nice because we do have Mum for the FedEx, we have Esper Sentinel for combo, and Esper Sentinel could actually draw into the card we need, so... You know what, we're testing things out. I'm happy to see how this unfolds. But we'll have to see what happens, because we're not too sure what our opponent is on. Okay, most likely a combo deck. Underground Sea to me represents Doomsday most of the time, but I've seen a small uptick in both Ant and Tess, and also Death Shadow. Look at that. It always works out. It always works out. I think I'm happy to lead on the Mum here, but if it is a combo deck, Esper Sentinel is pretty nice as well, but what am I drawing into? Potentially Endurance to pitch the Grist to, if I want to have some sort of activation there. Mum's nice to protect Thalia, but in game 1 against combo, I'm not going to really suspect much removal. I don't mind going out with the Esper Sentinel. But obviously there's some advantages to getting Mum online as soon as possible. Second Underground Sea makes me think this is not going to be... Okay, it is going to be Doomsday. I guess the Endurance would have been pretty solid. If that Knight was an Endurance, but... I guess I can only hope that they don't go for just kind of free draw card spells in Street Wraith and Edge of Autumn, and just turn to me even through a Thalia. Hey Northern Angel, welcome. But Doomsday pretty tough. We do have a few sideboard cards. I don't mind the Deafening Silences. They do stop the Dark Ritual starts, which is something that I really want to stop. The Opposition Agent isn't too bad. The 2 Endurance are good, and potentially the Carpets as well to get ahead on mana. Hey Bob Mans, welcome. So what are we looking at? We're definitely looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Probably taking out 4 Swords and 2 Solitude, which is 6. I don't really want to take out my fast mana, especially if it could turn on a turn 2 Opposition Agent. Ramanap can sometimes steal a win through a Doomsday if you can double Wasteland in a turn. But that can be tough. Grist is probably the other card we can take out. It depends if they actually have creatures or not. That's where Grist can kind of be nice, because even if they don't have creatures, it's not just a dead card like Swords to Plowshares in hand. And it looks like a pretty normal style hand. They might even just be going for a turn 1 win here. Into consider. Nice. All right. Nice and clean. So here I think the Solitudes and the Swords, pretty easy cuts. They sometimes have Sheldred, but we do have access to Karakas through Night, which also means we have sort of Karakas the Green Suns. Night of Autumn is interesting because you can sometimes snag a Lotus Petal or LED potentially, but I think it might just be Mother of Runes that we cut down on. So these are the cards that I see having some sort of impact in this matchup. It's... It's probably just the mums. I like just having, in case, Griston and Knight for something that is there. I don't mind a mum. Kalos Blood Mage. I need to read that card. When ETBs, choose one, create a 1/1 pest creature token. You draw a card and you lose a life. Exile target player's graveyard. Interesting. This is a pretty strong hand. And what I like about it is that we have a turn 1 Noble Hierarch into turn 2 Thalia. And we can also hold up Carpet and Endurance if needed. So pretty happy to keep this. Opponent's gone to 6 cards. Opponent's gone to 5 cards. 4 cards. I guess once you get to Black Source Ritual Doomsday, you don't really have to worry about too much else against a fair deck like us. But at least if they go towards a 4-lander or a 3-lander that has sort of the Black Source Ritual Doomsday start, they also have to worry about Endurance. I don't think my opponent would bring in a card like Massacre, or I don't believe Doomsday play Massacre, so I think I can just go for Savannah. I don't have to go for something like Bayou and then just rely on Noble Hierarch for white mana. Thoughtseize is strong. They could just take the Thalia here because I want to be reactive with the Endurance. So here, I don't mind drawing first, because drawing into Deafening Silence would be fantastic. We could also play Carpet this turn, and then in the second main phase, use it for white mana. Okay. Here, I'm just going to... I think because I have pretty much all the mana in the world here, I'm going to hold the Carpet because I do want to have it for the Endurance, just in case. The Noble also playing around Days is quite good. So I didn't want to attack there, just in case they had sort of the nuts. But if I do draw into any more lands, I kind of want them to be Wastelands. Yeah, Snuff Out would be a pretty good removal spell for Doomsday, especially because it doesn't really interrupt what they're trying to do either. Unless you have something like Thalia and they need to pay 1 for it. But otherwise, yeah. I guess the only thing for Doomsday to consider with Snuff Out is if you're using it against a creature deck, you have to take it into consideration for when you lose half your life. Okay. That's kind of nice. So they have 2 cards in hand, and they have Doomsday on top. So they must have a mana source in hand, which means that if they then Doomsday, they have 1 card in hand, which is pretty hard to go off with. So I think I can attack here, and then second main use Carpet for 2 endurance, 2 green for endurance, and go from there. I don't really want to target anyone here. The issue is if they know I have endurance in hand and make a Doomsday pile, they can get Relic of Progenitus, which is just a really clean answer to endurance. So I want to at least get a clock on board. Oh, so they have Ritual. Okay, I guess that still leaves them with 1 mana. I think probably if they don't go off this turn, which I don't believe they can, because they only have 1 card in hand. I guess if they have Brainstorm, they could potentially. No, because they can't really brainstorm. I guess they could brainstorm and just, yeah, they keep getting to 1 card, so they actually wouldn't be able to go off with it. I know that Punishing Waterfalls has been playing 8 Mulch. I think he 5-0'd with it recently. Let's have a quick look. Yes, so he played against Rhinos, Delver, Elves, 4-color control, and Initiative. And it was a pretty stock list, but obviously quite well positioned right now. 2 fields, 2 depths to win. But yeah, pretty sweet deck. A really nice take on lands to be a little bit more aggressive. I'll put that in chat. Alright, 2-turn clock. It has to be something good here. That's not too bad. Especially if they have LED or Lotus Petal. I also get to play a land to play around Daze on Endurance here. Interesting. That's gonna be okay. Because now what we want to do is cast Endurance and then just have Lethal. Get Triad Arbor as well. Yeah, nice. That was close. That was really close. I mean, you could tell there that like even on a 4, like Doomsday just put in a lot of work against Maverick. You gotta play pretty tight or get lucky. And you know, 2 endurances and a collector Oof just got there. Do I want to change anything? I don't think I do. Which decks am I going to bring to Tokyo? I think I'll bring Depth with me, Naya Depth, and then if I've got a few hours and there's a tournament on somewhere, I might go play, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, probably just Naya Depths. I don't want to take too much, of course. I do want to stock up on sleeves though. Sleeves in Japan are cheap. I believe the last time I was there, which was 2019, a pack of KMCs was around $3.50 or $4, whereas here they're like 15 to 20 depending on the LGS. Which is pretty brutal, so you can get like 5 packs for the price of one. Yeah, let's just run this back. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to like import tax. This is a tough hand on the draw. But we do have something like turn 1 Carpet into second main Deafening Silence or Sentinel. I don't mind this. Especially because Carpet might also give us the mana to be able to Fiend Artisan one of these Esper Sentinels into something like Thalia or Collector Oof, but we'll see. Only goes to 6. Alright. Obviously here we're looking for Endurance off the top, which we have a pretty high chance for. We have the full playset, 2 main, 2 side. Sadly, Deafening Silence isn't great after a Doomsday. Usually because here I assume they'll go for draw effects over things like Ideas Unbound or Brainstorms, etc. But they could also just have exactly what they need this turn. A pretty quick Doomsday as well compared to the others, so I think it might just be a clean win here. Oh, okay. Okay, at least here what we can do is go Savannah, Carpet, now the question is, hey Harry, thank you for the 2-month sub, I very much appreciate it. And very cool to have you on the Green Sun Zenith recently. I really enjoyed that. I also really liked your take on Abzan Mav with Saga. It was very cool. So I think Deafening Silence here. Esper Sentinel gives me potentially a draw into, I guess it has to be Endurance. I feel like Silence here might give me a little bit of time to get this Thalia down. Maybe. Okay. Wasteland? Oh. Okay. Start with Sentinel. Cradle, not the worst. It allows us to double Sentinel into Thalia. But obviously the Relic here turns off Endurance, which is tough. The next turn they draw a card. I assume they have something like a Street Wraith into Thassa's Oracle. They just draw the card. Yeah, that makes sense. Tough. Alright. Down we go. Opponent quite well known for Doomsday, so I think maybe I should have picked up on that. But here we are. I think the only thought I had was removal in response to Thassa's Oracle effect, especially if they are shutting off endurance lines. But I don't think that's like a winning strategy, because once they have the Thassa's Oracle in play, it's quite hard for them to mess up. But yeah, trying to remove the devotion in play is probably not where you want to be. All right, Tikudo. We are on the draw. Sadly, just an odd keep with the cradle here. So I'm usually a big fan of like, can we cast everything in our hand? No. Okay. This is better, a little bit slow, but I think here I'm probably more happy to drop the Knight of Autumn than the Ramanap. I obviously want to keep, I think 3 lands is fine to keep. The Swords is great. And then the Green Suns is fine as well. So I think Ramanap, especially when paired with Canopy, if this game does go long, happy to keep this and keep Knight in the deck as a Green Suns target. Still a little bit more situational. Verdant Pass. Wasteland, okay. Here we are just going to ramp. Probably just off Savannah as well. Yeah, played Morlock a bit in Maverick and Depths in Paper and really enjoyed it. Really nice to have that sort of effect off Green Sun Zenith. Especially just for pesky creatures. Obviously like Mother of Runes, Delver unflipped, DRC not online, Elves, which is pretty prominent, Baleful Strix, Icefang, little things like that. Oh, Beseiju? Okay. I think I'm happy to play Wasteland here and then play Ramanap. And then hope that I can double Wasteland next turn, potentially. I don't want to Wasteland here because of crop rotation. But if this is a Depths deck, having double swords is really nice on top of the Wasteland. I guess one small out my opponent has to this is, in response to Wasteland on, say, the Beseiju, or Petal. Maybe this is like Ant. I've seen some Ant decks play Beseiju as a one-of in the deck. I guess we can just 6 here. But yeah, if we untap, Wasteland the Beseiju, if they crop rotate in response and get Bajuka Bog, if it is like a lands deck or some sort of depth shell, then they can get rid of the Wasteland before we can replay it with the Ramanap. If they go for a duel here, okay, they don't. I was going to say they're probably trying to go off this turn, but even here it's pretty good for us. They're down to 3 cards, which is pretty hard to go off here. 2, 4, 5, yeah. Okay. I think there's a big upside here of actually using the Savannah to... No, I want to use the Dryad Arbor to draw a card. Because if I draw into Thalia, I do want to cast her. And I think Thalia would be better than Wasteland. So let's do that now. Even Esper Sentinel wouldn't be too bad. Like Collector Oof, there's a lot of good draws here. Mum's not too bad. I think Mum's okay here because we can still hold up Solitude, our own creature, to go to 22 in case they do try to storm off. And Solitude, probably not a card they're really looking to play around. If they are going to go off this turn, they're probably just aiming for 20 life, especially seeing we're tapped out and can't cast the swords they know about in hand. Second Solitude. I think here I rather draw a card. And I want to attack with everything, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 off the Misty puts me down to 10. And then it's a 3-turn clock. Because then... yeah, I think that's actually okay. I think because we have double Solitude, I don't need to hold up the Dried Arbor to be able to draw a card and also Savannah. And there's no point drawing a card here in case of like another Thoughtseize. I don't want to lose a Thalia in hand. Alright. See what we draw. Draw a land. What do we draw? We draw a Thalia. There we go. So let's go with Wasteland, Thalia, nice. Very cool. I'm going to put them on Ant. So Ant is a deck that sometimes uses the graveyard for Past in Flames. Otherwise, cards like You Worn Wigs. I know that reference. I think like Leyline's a card that if there are just better, if it has more text than other cards, I typically take it out. Grist and Removal are great cards to take out. Thalia is great. Collector Oof, Fiend Artisan. I don't mind the Sentinels, the Mums to protect these creatures. The Endurances are fine, even just as a flash creature. Night of Autumn can probably come out. What do we want? We want the Deafening Silences. I want a Engineer in case of Empty, which we can find off Fiend. I do want the Opposition Agent. Potentially the Carpets. Force of Vigor is also interesting if they do play out something like a Wish Claw and don't activate it the same turn. So I don't mind a Wish Claw. I kind of feel like Force is better than Night of Autumn. The other reason that I think of Artifact or Enchantment Hate is typically because against Thalia decks, a few Ant players do play out their Lotus Petals, or maybe even an LED or a Wish Claw the turn before they want to go off, just in case I play a Thalia and they untap and they've already got that in play. But I probably don't want double Force, so I think actually that's fine. And then we get one more card. It's probably just a Carpet. Could be an Endurance if I do want to like not go down the route of sorry, not go down the route of Leyline. This hand's a bit of a trap. It does things, but it's not a Deafening Silence, it's not a Thalia, and they're probably the cards that I really want to be having in my opening hand. So I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. I think if it was a 6 without the Dried Arbor, I would keep it because it's a 6. I wouldn't keep it because it's like a great hand. Like if we want the Black Source, we can't get that off Noble Hierarch, so we kind of have to go Verdant Bayou Noble or Scrubland Esper Sentinel, and then hopefully get a green source off the top. But I think actually we would probably go Bayou into Noble, because I feel like if we did keep it, having the black source for a turn 2 potential opposition agent off the top is better than double Sentinel on turn 2. This is much better. Happy to keep this. Bottom of Wasteland. We have Carpet. We have... Yeah. I guess we could keep a Wasteland and have double Wasteland, but with the Carpet, it's a little bit awkward, so I think this is fine. It's always nice to have 2 ways to ramp as well. Nothing. Oh, okay. So here, I think I'm more happy to get the Esper Sentinel into play than the Noble Hierarch. Because if they fetch for a land and a land, and then next turn we kind of get 2 mana off Carpet to play Thalia anyway? Oh. I wonder if they have a bounce spell. Thalia and Esper Sentinel here very good because we're most likely going to be drawing a card. Hey Rune, hope you're well as well. It's a start to a weekend, which is really nice. I did, funnily enough, lose to Leylines earlier this evening on turn 2 and then turn 1. I think I took 3 game actions. And I got throttled. Oh, they play a Bayou. That actually makes me want to put a draw step on, because I might want to cast this Carpet. Oh, second Wasteland. Because my thought here is that they have Abrupt Decay or some sort of bounce spell. And what I want to do is Wasteland the Bayou in draw step, so they remove the Thalia, which means then if they do get 2 islands, in first main we can play the Carpet for 1 mana, and then second main use the Carpet to play the Collector Oof, and then also Wasteland. I don't think they would have played the Bayou into a Wasteland without having a removal spell for the Thalia. The only thing this does is it doesn't allow me to get in damage. But if I wait for damage and then try to do that second main, I don't get the mana off Carpet. So I think here we actually want to Wasteland the Bayou. Oh, they get a Swamp. Okay. I guess that just makes the Carpet pay for itself, potentially. Hey, Lord Damo, welcome. Hey, Hio. Oh, they get they don't get any blue mana. Very interesting. And here's the decay. So we do get to draw a card. Okay. So they really don't want me to gain an advantage of the Carpet of Flowers. So here I feel like I just have to play the Collector Oof to have another sort of bear in play. And then we can attack with the Sentinel. I do like that Esper Sentinel gets that activated abilities cannot be activated, which is pretty funny. But yeah, very cool to hear that you're playing around with Witherbloom Adventurer in Maverick. I know that Harry has a lot of success with that, coming in 9th in a Legacy Challenge a few weeks back. And it's a really good list to build off if you're wanting to play that sort of style. Really aggressive not going for blue mana, but I guess off this Misty they can find. I wonder if they actually play a basic island. You don't often see basic forest in Ant. Oh, Snuff Out. This is Ant, right? What did they do last turn? Last game? We saw like Thoughtseize, Beseiju, Wasteland. Sorry, Beseiju, Lotus Petal, Brainstorm. Yeah. Okay. Right. Wow, Ritual and then Preordain. Huh. I wonder why they didn't Preordain first to see what their hand would be like, and then use the Dark Ritual. They must have something in hand to use it for. Maybe a Wishclaw Talisman. We'll see what they do with this Preordain as well. Hey, Paul. Hope Beijing is well. What's the weather like there? -3? Wow, I didn't realize it was so cold in China right now. Hope you're warm and snug. Large amount of thinking on this Preordain. Here's the graveyard for everyone to look at. I've actually been playing a little bit of Bug Ant in paper, dropping the red and replacing Past in Flames with Lost Pero dice. That card is insane. That card is very good. You're Canadian, so -3 feels great. Nice. It's -17 where you are right now. That has to be Canada, right? Bob? Okay. I didn't see this coming. Oh, I wonder if this is like a Witherbloom deck. That would be kind of scary, right? Luckily, we do still have... Okay, so we get to play Carpet, which is free. Play a land. I don't mind playing Noble Hierarchy and attacking for 2. And then post-main we can play the other Esper Sentinel. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening, Lord Damien. Delta off the top. If they brainstorm first, we can wasteland the Pluto Delta. Can also take this draw step off. Okay. They have 3 cards. I could get... I think I will actually get Grist here. I guess I could have also attacked first, because I am attacking with both anyway. Oh, we took it out? I must have. Yeah. I guess that was actually Doomsday where I was talking about that. That's all good. I guess Knight isn't too bad. Also, having a Fiend Artisan in play is quite relevant. Means next turn we can just turn something into something relevant, so... I don't mind attacking with both. Either way, they're taking 2, or one is trading with Dark Confidant and the other is getting in. But now I actually am a little bit scared of Witherbloom Command. Alright, they go to 7. Northern Quebec? Very nice. My girlfriend is from Quebec. Petty Theft. Okay, this is definitely more mid-rangey than I thought it would be. And they really don't want to fetch, which is... I guess they don't want to lose the mana source. They're most likely going to have a duel. Will they hit Grim Tutor? Okay. Espers so far have been good, but we have also played against 2 non-creature combo decks, or what seemed to be Doomsday, yes, this, whatever this was. A cool take on a nice, yeah. Bug something. I wonder if it was a deck that moved like an ant shell that moved into Witherbloom Command. That would actually be kind of cool. Huh. Okay. Yeah, your sideboard could just be like 4 Green Suns, 4 Witherbloom, maybe even like 2 Witherbloom, and then you have like Sylvan Safekeeper as well to like protect it as a Green Suns target. 4, 5, 6, 7. You have like 3 Ley Lines for Graveyard Hate. You have got 5 cards left. Maybe like 2 Abrupt Decays. Or like 2 Silence. That goes off bug. 2 Veil of Summer. Like 1 Fluster. I feel like everyone's cold, and I'm sitting here in like 35-degree heat. Although I am in aircon, but it's hot where I am. I'm going to be right back to the bathroom. Hopefully, the game will be live once. Alright, we're on the draw with a pretty sweet hand. I'm definitely keeping this. And I kind of want to lead on the Esper Sentinel. Then it's gone to 6 cards. I think Esper into Thalia here is pretty nice. The acceleration is good, but already having a plan means I'm not too far on that. Australia uses Celsius. Alright, let's go Verdant into Savannah. This means that a removal spell at least replaces the Esper Sentinel, which is quite nice. Caracas. That is not what I want to see. Oh, but that is what I want to see. Haha. Nice. Okay, well now we have a role for the Thalia, which is even better. So they're on the 60 card version of D&T. Well, that's not what I want. I guess, actually, in this matchup, it's quite nice because we have the Fiend Artisan. I think I do just want to keep ramping here. The Fiend Artisan can, of course, turn the Thalias into spells, which is quite nice. There was some thought of keeping the Green Suns for Collector Oof for the Vial, but I think here I just want to not think about the Vial at all. And to be fair, if they tap out here for something, we do have Thalia to kind of tax them on that Caracas. Oh, it's Goblins? Okay. Huh. Oh, we just have a hardcast Solitude here. I think that's probably better than anything else. And I love that chat is just going over where they live and what the weather is. And then also converting it as well. Very nice. So for those of you who don't know what this card does, it is a 1/1. Other goblin creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever it or another creature dies, a goblin, exile the top card of your library. If it's a goblin creature, you may cast that card until the end of your next turn. I think here I'm happy to take them off the Skirk. The Skirk's just a little bit annoying. The Skirk, I feel, leads to a little bit more shenanigans. And they probably... Oh, they don't let it die. Okay. Lackey. Okay, so they can actually cast that next turn. They have 3 cards in hand. Okay. Wonder if they play Badlands. Okay. I think a Wasteland would be very strong for this Caracas to turn on these Thalias just as 2/1 first strike creatures. Knight is pretty strong here as well, let's be honest. So how do I want to do this? I probably am not blocking with the Esper Sentinel, so I believe I have the power here to attack with it for 2. Hey, Master G, I appreciate it. Do they have another Lord? No, they trade. Okay, but then they can actually Snowwood Mountain. Okay, that's not too bad. So let's go for Knight. And then Fiend Artisan is a 2/2. I'm actually quite happy for that trade. I think the Sentinel did its job. It drew a card. And getting a Goblin off the field, like being a removal spell that also draws you a card is quite good. 1 mana for 1 mana. I feel like for them, having the extra Goblin is quite relevant. Okay. Oh, that's pretty huge. All right. I feel like I want to get Wasteland, but I want to see what we can get as well with... Green Suns can get Grist. Green Suns could get another Solitude. We could get another Solitude, actually. If we get Cradle. Wow. That's pretty baller. Oh, and sacking's part of the cost. So what we can do here is 1, tap this. Get Cradle. Play Thalia. And now we have 6 mana. Which means we can now trade the Thalia for the other Solitude. Bang. And also hold up Swords to Plowshares here. I think Solitude here is better than Grist. Sorry, Capital, but you're gone, mate. Apologies. We're just going to go for a Lord here. And then no great attacks, I don't think. I guess I could attack with the Dryad Arbor here. That's kind of free. We have double Solitude and Swords to Plowshares to hold back, so feeling pretty good. Fiend, like, really performing here, because Goblins can be a tricky matchup, especially if they go wide. Sure, we have bigger creatures, but there are times where they just get in with, like, 5 damage there, 4 damage there. A lackey hits, they get in some sort of ringleader, or, of course, the 6 mana legendary creature that comes in, Muxus. Yeah, no reason to cast the Thalia here, we can just hold the swords up. Do they have a 3-drop? That's also a pretty big one. Snow-covered mountain waiting in the wings. Can they actually put lands in play? You may cast that card. Okay, so they can't put lands in play. Probably Ringleader here at 4 mana. I don't think it would be Trash Master at this sort of stage of the game. Like, there's no real need to put it into play. Four cards. They found a Monxus and a Sharpshooter. Well, that Sharpshooter is definitely getting taken out. Correct. So they need to activate Vial 2 more times, or tick it up 2 more times, and then activate it for Muxus. So I think we can potentially get there with straight damage before then. Oh, they found a Skirk. Does that mean I need to swords something right now? They haven't played a land yet. I'm not sure when this Bloodstained Mire is from. Or is that the 4? That must be the 4 that they revealed. Yeah. I think in response to this, I just want to hit the Horde Master because of its ability. The only reason I'm not too scared of the Lackey here is because the Sharpshooter isn't online anytime soon, and with Muxus in play, they don't have anything in hand to actually Lackey out, unless they draw into like another Ringleader. But there is consideration to swords something here before the scope resolves, just because of the ability of Horde Master. So if we get rid of this, then they have to sack their whole board and tap out for Muxus, which we do have Cradle for. So we do have Caracas for off the Knight, but it can be pretty tough, especially if they hit things like yeah, I think I am just talking myself into dealing with this to stop any sort of shenanigans off it as well. Oh, they pass back. Maybe there's a way we can nearly put lethal on board here. Wasteland would be a pretty good one. Noble Hierarch, not that great. Hey Jittery, welcome. So if we attack with everything right now except for the Ignobled Hierarch, we attack for 1, 4, 9, 12, 15. I do want to Wasteland them as well. So I think what I want to do is play Noble. Oh, what about play Noble, Wasteland them, and then use Fiend for Grist to get rid of the Thalia. No, but the Thalia's not too bad because it, like, we can get rid of the Caracas with Wasteland here. So we'll float mana. Find Wasteland. Use Wasteland on the Caracas. And then I think we find Grist. Oh, they're going to float white mana. Okay. I don't actually need to do that. I can attack here with the Dryad Arbor. Because I have more than enough mana to cast Thalia at second main. And I do want to keep chipping in damage. But this Dry Double gets in for 3. I think what I want to do is Grist, take out the Skirk Prospector, and then next turn go after the Aether Vial with Night of Autumn before they get it to 6 for Muxus. So play Thalia, and then we will use Grist. I will just put in the full amount. Hey Panda. I think here I'm also happy just getting rid of Ignobled Hierarch. Grist. I think here just getting rid of the Dried Up is fine. Just being an untapped, a tapped creature as well. Just really constrict them on what they can do each turn. But like I think we've drawn pretty well. The Fiend Artisan has given us a lot of like removal as well in Solitude and Grist, but like Goblin still puts up a pretty good fight. Raider Maker, okay. But do they play a mana? Surely they still have this Bloodstained Mire from the Ringleader. They revealed Aether Vial, Bloodstained Mire. Why don't they play it? Of course, no. They don't have those in hand. Apologies, of course. Of course. That was just a brain fart. Excuse me. Alright. What am I attacking with here? I don't mind attacking with a Solitude, and then gristing away the Noble Hierarch. We destroy the Vial now, correct? Oh, the Grist also just gives us something to get rid of, so that's actually perfect. The synergy there is just so good. This might even lead to a concession. Probably happy to take out the Badlands here as well. Because if they attack with a creature now, they're probably dead by not having it as a blocker. Hmm. So if we attack with everything, they can block 3 creatures and kill 1. Most likely a Solitude. So they block here, here. Block a Solitude, kill a Solitude, take 4. Yeah, I think in this spot I'm pretty happy just to attack with all. If only I had Hoof, yeah. I also have to think about time here, because we are down by 5 minutes. I think because of that, I'm just going to make a creature and then just 6. That's fair. I'll take that. Alright. What do we like from the board? We obviously like the 2 opposition agents, sorry, Plague Engineers. I think that's an easy one. I'm happy to go down on 2 Thalias for that. There is a consideration for opposition agent, but at the same time, against a deck that is quite aggressive on like Wasteland, getting out your Black Source early can be a little bit tough. Obviously, like Deafening Silent, Thalia, Leyline, Carpets aren't great. Endurance as a body isn't bad, especially if they're bringing in things like Relic of Progenitus, which hurt both Knight of the Reliquary and Fiend Artisan. But I don't think it's good enough. So I'm actually just going to go with these 2. I think that's more than fine. Thalia, not the greatest, but keeping my white count up for Solitude is nice. And also just having a little bit of a game plan. Yeah, I think it's a case of having like a lot of cards in the main deck that just aren't that great. But having a little bit more text, like at least Esper Sentinel is a 1-mana card that makes them have to have removal if they're playing as turn unlucky. Postboard, they might have things like Pyrokinesis if they're not playing Fury. But I would assume they're on Fury. I believe Pyro can't... Pyro is instant, but it can't hit Planeswalkers. So... Opponent goes to 6. Okay, that's fantastic for us. I don't actually mind ramping here to potentially go for a turn 2 Collector Oof. They kept a 1-lander? No, okay. Munitions. Sure. I think it's just Esper Sentinel. I could play the Fiend Artisan though. which is a 2/2. I think that just makes better use of my mana as well. And if the Fiend can come online, then potentially that's also a way to get there. No Lackey is, again, very good. Another Vial's fine. They have 2 cards left in hand. Like a Noble Hierarch at this stage I'm happy to throw away. I think I'm happy to put the Wasteland into play this turn. I kind of want to keep them off the ability to Ringleader. That's probably the card here that I care about the most. So I don't mind Wasteland into Sentinel. Forests also hold up Endurance, but my thought is that they're on Ringleader. So keeping them off that as much as possible is kind of where I want to be here. Interesting. What's this going to be? Floating a colorless. Maybe in a braid? Sudden Edict. Okay. Yeah, I think next turn now we'll go and get Oof. I also don't want a 6 because of potentially showing off Swords Plowshares. Wow, no attacks. Alright, here we go. It's pretty good. Not going to attack here either. Pretty happy just to wait back a little bit. Yeah, I'm not too sure. They didn't have a 2-drop when Vial was on 2, and they didn't have a 3-drop. They've still put the Vials up. Makes sense. Pyrokinesis. Oh, but going down to 0 cards. Huh. Okay. I think their next turn is just play a land pass with Endurance open. And probably even Endurance myself to put back the Collector Oof. So like Green Suns off the top would be pretty fantastic. Knight's pretty good as well. I actually think Knight here is just better. It gives me the extra land as well for Solitude the following turn. I don't mind Thalia this turn. Hold up endurance. Hey PVDH. Hope you're well. I think this is fine. Just keep building out, and then end step we can get Cradle, which turns on the endurance to put the Collector Oof back into the deck, and then we also have Solitude the following turn. So we can probably start attacking with Knight at that point. I think Ringleader is where my opponent needs to start to really getting some traction going. All right. I guess endurance does make the knight smaller, but did I float a mana? No. I have to get a white. I have to get a green source if I want to. Losing to another munitions expert would be pretty dire. Yeah. I actually don't mind just not targeting anyone. I don't really want to give them the Sudden Edict back or the Pyrokinesis. Hey Toolbox, a big thank you for the sub. Too kind. Hope you're doing well. Very true, I did sacrifice a tap land. Alright, at this stage I'm happy to attack with all creatures. That is free. Alright. Sure, Cradle still taps for 3 for 5. Wow, going down to 0 goblins. What does that mean? That they know about the Solitude and they don't want to have targets for it? Really aggressive blocks. Especially when you have things like the 2-mana Lord to draw into, which could potentially draw you some extra cards with Munition Experts dying a turn later. Sting Squelcher. Okay. I think here, even because of the Echo, I do just want to cast this, get it into play and start dealing damage as well, and keep the pressure going. Probably just going to attack with these two. They most likely don't have another creature based on what they've done so far. We are running the full 4 Fiends. Yeah, full set. So full set with Green Suns, and then a full set of Thalia, Sentinels, and Mums. Just have more turn 1 plays that can lead into a turn 2 Collector Oof, and then hopefully a turn 3 activation. Wasteland does it. 7, 10, 14. Wasteland does it. Nice. Wasteland does it with holding up the Mum. Okay. What do they try to hit? It's only 4 damage, right? These two. And Mum. They got a 14, 7. I think here we just save the Solitude. Pro red. And then happy to wasteland myself to get that extra 2 damage in. Which puts him to 1. Which probably isn't relevant. Like, he could just go with the 5/5 Knight. Hey, Runcore. We are fiending. It's been pretty good so far. It's been really relevant. Played against Doomsday, some sort of bug storm matchup that looked like Ant game 1, and then game 2 had things like Duck Confidant and Petty Theft. So I think they were kind of maybe like a Witherbloom command deck, because they had Rituals, Brainstorms, Lotus Petals, and then, yeah, game 3 up against Goblins. But pretty tough start for them, especially in this game. They had a turn 1 Vial. Oh, what is this card? Ah, this is cool. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature or an artifact. If you do, create a 4/1 Black Skeleton. Nice. I would assume that they have no outs, but you never know. Pretty cool. Especially should do it without Plague Engineer. That's always a nice feeling. It gives some false belief that potentially green-white Maverick could be okay. Because usually with green-white, the biggest thing you miss is a way to deal with go-wide strategies. So you start looking at things like Jitte or Blast Zone. But that was pure green-white power. The new Tyvar Planeswalker does look very cool. Happy to keep this. It's really nice to have both free spells in case we need them, plus ways to cast them. It looks really interesting. Being able to play a Knight of the Reliquary and activate it straight away, or a Mother of Runes and play it straight away, is pretty cool. Oh, Urborg. Are we going to see a like Dark Ritual into... I guess if they Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent, we have the Solitude anyway. Urborg. I'm happy to ramp. Especially just get my mana online and also out of the range of other things. It'll be tough to find room for Tyvar. I feel like you do have to build around it to some extent. This could be Depths. I would actually love it to be Depths. I really enjoy the Depths matchups. Alright, it's going to be Depths. There's Dark Depths. And here is Hexmage. Okay. They probably do it in Upkeep, but then they're not playing around Crop Rotation. I thought they would have made it then and there, but I guess they're playing around Karakas to some extent as well. Oh, we actually kind of get a free Endurance here, because we get to play Cradle and hold up Dryad Arbor for 3 mana. They could have not... Oh, it's a new token? Okay. They could have Not of This World here. So I'm actually going to try to Solitude, because getting the Endurance online with Mum would be huge. Oh. Well, that's pretty huge. I will say the one thing about Once Upon a Time in Depths is tricky, because I love to keep a hand that has the combo. I don't want to rely on, say, once finding me specifically Dark Depths or Stage or Hexmage and then not find it, because then you're just giving your opponent time where you should just be playing turbo, turbo, turbo. I do like just going for Endurance here and hitting ourselves to get that Solitude back. Opponent can't go off here though, because they could crop, but they can't crop for a Dark Depths and tap it for mana while also having the Urborg in play and the stage to copy it. Very good backup. Here, I probably want to play the fetch land. Maybe act like we're just a green-white deck. I can attack with both of these. I guess I could attack with the Mum, potentially. But I've seen some lists play main deck Assassin's Trophy or Witherbloom Command as a way to deal with cards like Mum. Okay, now with Crop, they could get there. Also happy just to fetch. I also don't need to get a dual land because we have the Urborg. Like a black land myself. Cool. Okay. I like that. Now I'm happy just to sit back a little bit on the Endurance with Mum. They could have Sajiri Step, but we'll see how that goes. Do we see a crop? We don't see a crop. Okay. Verdant Pass. Alright. Well, now the Fiend's online. Thalia. Thalia is free to some extent. One, two, three, four, five. Nice. I could have floated a mana. I didn't think I needed to. Oh, it is. Oh my gosh. Oh, I could have floated a mana and I just didn't even think I needed to. And we could have actually swords this opposition agent in response. That's crazy. I was like, oh, we can just... Tough. That's really tough. And to be fair, that's me just not playing better. Tough. That's on me. Like, even playing the scrub land, like, I think there I'm just playing a little bit too cute by not playing the scrub land and, like, trying to hide we're on black. Because, realistically, the black only gives away opposition agent. Yeah, especially main deck. Pretty cool to see. But... tough. Especially because now they also get the creature to play. Oh, they find a Mum. That's not too bad. I probably just want to sword this now as well. And then we have Grist next turn to take out the Mum. But yeah. I even like went to tap like back, but I was like, I don't want to untap the cradle. We can adapt. We can adapt. This is all good. Wow, all land to buy you now. Okay. This is where I kind of wish I had like a Flicker Wisp in the deck, just to be cute and like get this back. Be pretty sweet. Ramanap would be cool. Another Swords is actually very good. Do I bother with Grist here? I think I do, because how do I get beat? I get beat by end of turn Dark Depths, and then also have Sejiri Step. No, I don't. It has to be like Sejiri Step and Not of This World. So I guess here I get free attacks with the Thalia. I actually think I need to go for Knight here. They're going to try to once into another opposition agent. Oh, they find it? That is pretty nuts. Yeah. But we found another Swords to Plowshares. Now this is a little bit tricky because if we want to grist the mum now, I do have to lose either the mum or the endurance. Or the Fiend Artisan. I think this might actually be a world where I get rid of the Fiend Artisan. What's the play, man? What's the play? Oh, what about Grist? I think this turn. No, it's going to be Grist, get rid of Endurance, and then next turn we can tick up Grist, get a token, and then turn that token into another Endurance. So then we're covered. Night no regret. Okay, just a pass, but still obviously worried about a few things. Okay. Tick up. They have 3 cards. Don't do it. Don't do it. Alright. Fiend's unplayable. You heard it here first. Tough. I wonder what they grab. I assume it might be a Knight. It could also be Ramanap. Play Ramanap, get back Dark Depths. We can get out of this. Come on, team. They get Ramanap. Well, now we have to draw live. Now we really have to draw live. Are they going to allow us to draw into Wasteland? I guess it doesn't really matter because they have the Ramanap, but we potentially get the chance to Fiend for Endurance. Sentinel. So we can't Fiend unless we Grist, get rid of Thalia, hit the opposition agent. Oh, we do have Solitude. We don't have Scoos. Let's think this out. Do I want to play the Sentinel? That's a big question. I don't think I need to. 3. I think we have all the mana in the world. Trade with agent. So here, if they make the token, we can get Solitude. If they don't, we get Knight of Autumn, gain 4 life and go to 22, which gives us enough time to get a hit in. Sentinel was free. My only thought was the unknown information of Sentinel while we went through that passage of play was better than having Sentinel in play. Yeah, I think here we have to go for Knight of Autumn. Gain 4. Oof. Sajiri Step here doesn't do it either. Oh, it does! Sajiri Step does it on the Ramanap. If they have crop rotation, they can get pro-white. Luckily, no. But they could still have crop rotation. They don't. Okay. Game on. We're taking it. Caracas. Come on, baby. Ah, just as good. Okay. What do we want to do here? 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's 6 mana, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I think then we just want to swords here. Make sure it's off the table. Get there. Come on. That's it. That's it. Agent, I like. I don't mind Plagues as a way to turn off Vampire Hexmage and also Sylvan's Safekeeper, which I assume there. Thalia isn't too bad. The Oof can come out. I don't mind dropping down on Thalia just because of Caracas. I could cut an Artisan, but it's so good having it for things like Endurance for Reach, Ramanap, Night, Solitude. Also makes use of late game dorks if the game does go long. Does go long. I don't mind some number of Force of Vigor for things like Pithing Needle if they play it. Sometimes Steely Resolve. Probably cut down on it, like 1 Thalia for 1 Force. I don't mind that. Alright. What's this? This is actually pretty good. Turn 1, Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Turn 2, Night or Wasteland. With Swords backup. That's pretty sweet because Noble is free. Cradle. Knight. Next turn we can Fiend, Wasteland, and Swords if needed. Just like Fatal Push? Snuff Out? A few good removal spells here. Nothing. Okay. Okay. Wow. Do they... Let's float a white. Actually, let's go... I want to Krakus first, but I want to use my mana correctly. So I think we go like this for Fiend, and then we sack the Dryad Arbor, which also builds the Fiend. And then we have Green Suns for another Night. I could have baited with the first Swords. Okay, they're just going to concede. Righto. I think I probably should have baited with Swords first, but they made us have it. Does that make me want to change anything? I don't think so. I actually like having Thalia as well, in case in that situation where they're tapped out, they can't cast Not of This World. We're just going to run this back. Let's change up the music as well, because I'm nearly falling asleep. What do we think of this hand? This is a mulligan. The mana is just a little bit weak. We have a swords, which is nice, and turn 1 play in Mum, but to get these online, it's going to take some time. So pretty happy to mulligan. This is a lot better. I think here... I actually think the drop is a land, because we have Green Suns and Noble Hierarch. Yeah. I don't typically look at their mulligan decisions, but usually it's, do I have a land that does something? Is this like Hexmage into crop rotation? Oh my gosh. Nice. Tough. I stand by the keep. I stand by the keep. What are we playing against tonight? We're playing against Green Black Turbo. Black Red Goblins. Bug. Doomsday. Tough. A good mix of decks tonight, which is nice. Big fan of that. And as a depths lover, it's always really nice to see depths do that, which I think is a nice kind of teaching, is that if that kind of situation makes you kind of get a bit salty, then put yourself in the other player's shoes and like how cool it would be to actually pull off like a turn 1 Marit Liege. Because I feel like that helps a lot with trying to like make good out of any situation. No lands, unfortunately, so we will mulligan this. This is much better. It's actually a great 6. I'm going to bottom the Knight of Autumn because it's the sort of utility card here. We can find it with Fiend if we really need to, but 2 lands, mana acceleration, some protection in Mum, removal in Swords. Pretty great hand. Bauble first makes me think this is going to be an 8 cast matchup, so Fiend Artisan for Collector Oof is going to be where I'm going. Bauble Misty, okay. Maybe they are on Delver. Wow. This actually makes me just want to go for my basic mana early on. I think against Delver, a big part of losing is just not getting your mana right. And it can be tricky, like having Fiend Artisan means this Noble Hierarch does need to survive. Oh, Tundra. Huh. Probably still a Delver deck. Yeah. Oh no. No, I feel it. I feel it. Oh, okay, no cycle, that's pretty nice. Here I'm pretty happy just to Swords main phase. Clear the board. I could run the Thalia into a Daze, but I don't have to. And I think Swordsing the DRC there is just really nice, because it prevents any sort of value. A league without initiative, yeah. Okay. A little bit awkward. Especially with the Murktide probably incoming. Yeah. It'll be a 5/5. Oh, Forager? Okay. Return to hand. I think here I'm happy to take them off white. Oh, but they can't get a land back. Hmm. I did not mean to 6 there. That's really tough as well because I've already gone through 3 swords. So we have 1 swords, 2 solitudes, 1 grist left as a removal. Ugh. That is nice. I mean, a green salt at the top actually does pretty well here. I have 2 cards left. Tough. Carpets, 2. Endurance, 2. Collector Oof, Knight of Autumn. Now it's a tough one. I don't mind the nobles, even though we're bringing in carpets. I could cut 1. Then potentially a Fiend, but a Fiend just as a 2-drop is quite nice. What's the cut? I do like Noble though. Like, they have to like hit turn 1 acceleration. It could just be like a small trim. Maybe 2 Espers. Espers are so good. They feel so good, especially on the play though. Maybe it's like a Fiend. A Sentinel. I'm not too sure there. Pretty great hand. Happy to lead on Sentinel here to hopefully draw out removal and also draw us a card. Then next time we can play like Mum and also ramp Dryad Arbor. Playing 61 because I couldn't find a card to cut. I wanted to fit in the fourth Fiend. It's pretty good as well. This means we definitely draw a card if they try to... Okay, that was nice. Now these two work in tandem so well. Probably happy just playing Mum here. I could also build out towards like hardcasting Solitude, but also have like Green Suns for Dryad Arbor here into next turn Endurance, which I don't mind. Obviously, like it's some sort of sweeper effect does just destroy this board, but I can't really play around that to the extent that I want to anyway. Like a rough tumble here would be pretty brutal. Ah. Okay. I think here I actually just like getting Knight of the Reliquary as a 5/5. Grist is also pretty strong, but Knight also just wins the game next turn. 2, 3, 4, 4, 9. Definitely close. I feel like Grist is getting set up like a mid-range plan, whereas Knight, I just want to finish the game out right now, and we have Solitude for one threat. Esper Sentinel just so strong here at like keeping them off the mana, but also with like pairing with Thalia. That makes me think they have another DRC, and they're wanting to try to get that online as a 3/3. Three, 4, 5. We do have lethal on board, which is quite nice. Another sword. Oh, they hit the Thalia? Oh no. They also didn't see it because yeah, that's quite funny. So now if they need 2 blockers. I guess if they have a DRC, that's quite good. Maybe they have a... Yeah. Nice. Sentinel's coming back in, let's be honest. What is it? What is it? Maybe on the draw it is just like a Hierarch. It could also be the Ignoble Hierarch. I'd probably rather have white. I'm pretty happy to keep this. One more colored land would be great. Preordain. 2 bottom. Oh, carpet. Like, if you get a carpet, you get a carpet. Oh, wow. Yes. Roll out the red carpet. Heyo. They let us have the carpet. Interesting. Prismatic Ending is actually a fantastic reason to let it resolve. Oh, they don't fetch. They didn't have Daze last turn. But I don't think I have to care about... Oh, I could have tried to get Grist down this turn. Damn. I should have actually thought about that a little bit more. Honestly, here I'm pretty happy to... just keep building up my mana. Get a Noble Hierarch. I think we know they don't have a Prismatic Ending in hand because they didn't fetch for a white source and carpet. Brainstorm's fantastic. That's 3 mana for us, which we can use for this endurance. Oh. Well then. I think in this case we're playing Grist. So let's go for black. Lead with Grist. I think Endurance is better. Nice. Create. 2 creatures. Cradle. And now we get to play around, I guess, like double days. Not really a thing. Nice. Empty that graveyard. And attack for 1. I could also hold up the Noble Hierarch and hold up Swords around days. I think that might actually be better than getting the 1 in. We do have the Grist as well, so... The Fiend Artisan will also be a 3/3, which is quite nice. That was a quick fetch. Okay. Force is fine. Wow. So now we get 4 mana off carpet? Crazy. Oof. Yes. Alright, now we're going after the white sources. Bang. Swords of Ramanap. Okay. Fiend. Wasteland first is a great play. Yeah, so they can't swords. Look at that. Chat with the plays. I also don't mind attacking with both here. Exalted does get through the same amount of damage, but if they have like a swords for the endurance here, then at least we get through 1. Yeah. Still in a really tidy spot. This farm is getting crowded. Okay. But yeah, actually, like it, that Wasteland play was definitely a pretty big misplay. It's going to add up. Like a rough tumble or end of festivities is what my opponent really wants here. Okay, that's a start. Might as well. For 5 creatures in the bin. So Grist could be lethal next turn. Wow. Wow. Very nice. Well, we finished 3-2. Going down to Doomsday and Depths. Let's go back to Decktech. let's also open this chest. Let's be honest. Not a whole lot of good stuff. Oh. Are these just basic lands? Oh, they're not. Nice. Okay. Very cool. What do we like? What do we like? I really like the deck. I was actually quite surprised by Esper Sentinel's impact, especially alongside Thalia. And then Fiend is never a bad draw, because Fiend is just drawing. Fiend is pretty much saying, if you're after a creature, next turn you're going to draw it, which is pretty sweet. Especially in this version, like having the Solitudes really helped. The 2 Endurance I think is great, like 2 main, 2 side is quite nice. Being a must answer, Rancor, fantastic. That's a great point. Like Fiend, you just have to answer it, especially if somebody like 8cast wants to worry about Collect Oof, or Delver wants to worry about like Endurance. Being just an uncounterable way to find those threats is so good. A second Grist would be very cool. The only thing is, like, where? I'm not too sure where the fat is. Like in this current metagame, I could see Ramanap going to the board, but I do like how the synergy between Ramanap, Dried Arbor, and Fiend Artisan does come up. It could be one of the Mana Dorks. Like maybe 5 is, or 6 with Dried Arbor is a little bit too many. I do like having the Ignobled Hierarch, but there weren't too many times tonight where we found like we had Noble and didn't have access to black mana, so that's pretty interesting. How do I like Plague and Fiend? I do like Plague, especially like Fiend Artisan being the Green Sun Zenith for Plague and Opposition Agent post board is really nice. The question is, do I need 2 Plagues? Like usually 1 does it against the decks where I want it. Against Elves it's not as great, with only 1. Goblins it's obviously quite good. D&T it's obviously still strong, but pretty tough. Hey Mark, sadly yes. Yeah, I think that might be something to put to the people and ask what is there. How is Mav versus Initiative? Pretty tough. There's a few cool builds from Harry1232 and Mark who have been building towards it and trying to find ways to kind of match them on a, maybe not a value level, but getting the right removal in place to be able to attack through and take the initiative. So builds with things like Urza Saga or Snuff Out are pretty cool. Sometimes I bring Plague Engineer against Delver on the play, typically not the draw. It really depends. Fetching for a black source is quite scary early on when a Delver is not flipped or a DRC is online, so that's pretty tough. Yeah, the like Hierarch start or mana acceleration into removal into attack is usually where you want to be against initiative, which this deck consistently does have, which is nice. Especially this build with Solitude as well is pretty good. Mother of Runes is pretty pesky as well. Thalia is not the worst with Exalted, just really puts some pressure on. Like I'd love to fit a Scrib Ranger into this build because we do have Mums and Mana Dorks and Knights and Fiend Artisans, but again, it's just like, where is the fat? And that's a question I'll put on Discord and the Twitter. Magrippa, below my Twitch, you'll be able to find some links. And in there is my TCG player. You can also find it on the main page of the greensunzenith.com in ways you can support me, which include bada bing bada boom. Fatal Push is nice, doesn't kill Solitude, and Snuff Out's kind of nice because it allows you to still play a creature the same turn. It can be a little bit tough, a little bit like the Bolt versus Delver or DRC game plan for Delver against Initiative. It can be a little bit awkward if you want to kill the 3/3 before it becomes a 5/5, or get a creature into play to start trying to steal back the initiative as soon as possible. And that's where Snuff Out kind of came about for Delver. Obviously, Elves has been up on it as well, probably before anyone else, but yeah. It's pretty cool to see. That's going to be me. It is just past 1 a.m, so I'm going to go to bed. And yeah, a huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. Really, really cool. I think I'll probably stick with this list for a little while. I've been on Punishing, or at least Naya, for a bit, with kind of like a Lightning Bolt build with a bit more mid-range to it, things like Minsk and Wandering Emperor and Fable. But I really want to give this a good crack and see how it performs, because I do love how a lot of these cards play together. So we'll see how that goes. But a huge thank you to you guys. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. But I'll be back probably on Sunday night. It looks like Ramar is streaming, which is cool, and playing some Legacy. But like a lot closer tonight than I thought it would be. Doomsday is obviously quite hard, and like the turn 1 Marit is just a little bit too tricky sometimes to play around. So yeah, all in all, pretty impressed by the deck list, and we'll see how it goes from there. But until then, enjoy your weekends ahead, and I'll catch you soon.